This is Huffington Post's Third Metric, where we redefine success beyond money and power. Now, Jacqueline Bisset has been an international film star for decades, but she isn't running out of steam. This year, she won a Best Supporting TV Actress Golden Globe Award for her role in Dancing on the Edge. But outside of her marvellous work on screen, it was the authenticity of her acceptance speech that really sparked something with her audience. Well, joining me now is Golden Globe Award-winning actress Jacqueline Bisset. Jacqueline, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi.
It's so great to have you.
It's rather fun. It's actually in my own house. It's amazing.
I know. I have to say, it's a very beautiful house. We can see it in the background. So, tell us, are you still reeling from the Golden Globe win?
Well, I'm actually reeling more from the response to it than the Globe at this point. Everything kind of got slightly imbalanced. But no, because I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled.
And you spoke a little bit about the response. What kind of response have you been getting from people?
Well, it's been very mixed. I've been accused of a lot of things, but not guilty. Anyway.
What have you been accused of?
Oh God! I mean, being bonkers, being erratic, rambling, speech, crazy, drunk, drugged, everything. Sort of, the internet brings all kinds of remarks in, but I really don't know what to say because it's just none of this is. I was a little rambling. I would admit to that. I admit to rambling, but my heart was just overwhelmed. And, it's funny how emotions, I'm generally rather in control. I hold myself, I sort of believe in trying to hold my emotions together, rather British. And it just went up the creek. And I got about 5 ideas in my head I wanted to say at the same time. I didn't think I would win, so I didn't write anything.
Well, I think that, some of the words as well, I have to say, we were talking a little bit about, you were saying something about the reaction that you've got from people. I mean, do you, first of all, before I read some of your own words back to you, because some of them were, it was really quite marvelous when you actually sort of break them down. But in terms of the response that you got, do you read everything that is written about you? Were you kind of reading through the next day what people had been saying, or was it difficult to kind of avoid it?
Well, I don't think I've ever gone viral before, and I didn't know. So I thought, what does that mean? What is it that I heard there was went up to 178 million hits or whatever that means? I didn't know what it was. So I thought, well, golly, it must be something in there that I have to look at. I mean, what is this? I really don't understand what those hits are, but normally I read the stuff that comes up in the normal press to some degree. I do look at reviews. I mean, I think one always hopes that review will help one in a performance. Sometimes it could be helpful. Somebody who's very experienced about film. So I don't look very much at the personal stuff because I don't do a massive press really. I don't sort of rush around doing. I'm not a mad publicity hound. It's very important to do some, and I do some, but I don't. Not really. I'm sort of a little self-conscious, and I kind of like privacy too. So somewhere in between. Fame is great as long as you can keep your private life to some degree. And I've always had that attitude. And now that things are much more out there than they used to be, I'm really not really kind of hip to all the stuff. This is the first interview I've ever done like this. Rather fun.
Oh, I love that you're doing it with us. It's so great, and I think sort of being hip is definitely something that we can associate you with. I want to take you back a little bit to the words from your acceptance speech, because honestly they really resonated with our third metric themes of compassion and mindfulness. I just want to read a portion of your speech when you said this: I want to thank the people who have given me joy, and there have been many. And to the people who have given me shit, I say, like my mother, what did she say? She said, go to hell and don't come back. However, my mother was not entirely me. I believe if you want to look good, you've got to forgive everybody. You have to forgive everybody. It's the best beauty treatment, forgiveness for yourself. and for the others. Mental strength, as an actor, you are sort of constantly having to keep mentally rigorous, and in terms of learning lines, I think that's probably something that happens. I just have a couple of quick questions for you, Jacqueline, before we have to let you go.
Yes.
One is that, that big break, your first, the people sort of talk about the big break, you starring with Frank Sinatra as kind of like a breakout moment. But I was reading that Mia Farrow had originally been cast alongside Sinatra for the role that you eventually took. And so I was just wondering about fate and destiny. Do you believe that at that moment that you replacing Mia Farrow, was that a fateful moment or a moment
No,
of
it
destiny?
was purely because their marriage was going through problems and she was shooting Rosemary's Baby and she couldn't leave the production. And Frank Sinatra wanted her to leave the film she was making, which obviously she couldn't. And they worked out the schedule. He had about 9 more days of shooting on the detective, and that her role had been pushed to the end so that she could do it, but ultimately she couldn't do it. And they cast me. I didn't know anything about what was going on with them. Of course, I found out at the point that the studio told me to go to makeup and I was going to do this film with Frank Sinatra, and I was absolutely stunned. And once more, I said, "What do you mean? What film? I don't know about a script. I don't know anything about it." I had a sort of contract with the studio, with 20th Century Fox at the time. And that was the story. There's just, once more, another moment of astonishment. And then my life changed overnight, I think, actually. Suddenly the phone started to ring, and they basically didn't give me a second. I didn't have time to go to the bathroom. It was just non-stop. I said, golly, if this is fame, I'm not sure this is for me. And when I went back to England, there was a big fuss made at the airport and coming back home, and suddenly I was in the media, which I managed to basically not have any problems with that before. It wasn't a problem, but it was a different way of, facing the world.